People ask me all the time, Sean, how on earth did you come out of that shell, that hardcore introvert, to now giving keynote speeches on stages around the country? Now, this was arguably one of the most challenging things that I ever had to do in my life as it pertains to self development. How on earth was I supposed to go from this introvert that was grumpy and frustrated all the time into a leader that was happy and excited and sharing his story on stages? This started 10 years ago. I was an IT director for the company that I worked for, and yes, very introverted. I couldn't hold eye contact. I fumbled my words. And filler words, oh, they were brutal just having a conversation. And so yeah, like this, and it was horrendous. But I had no clue. The company that I was working for, they had a leadership development program. Part of that program was going through a public speaking course, and I was nervous beyond belief. I was in a room full of executives. There were 12 or 13 of us in this particular, it was a 3-day public speaking course. Finally, it came to me where I had to get up and share my story. I was nervous. I was soft spoken. People could barely hear me. People actually jokingly made a comment like, Sean, speak up. Come on, we can't hear you, buddy. It was rough. Now, for extra fun, the speeches were all recorded. I had a chance after I spoke to go watch myself on camera. It was the most humbling and disheartening experience that I had been through to date. It helped me also realize how horrible I was when it came to communication. I had been navigating through my entire life thinking that everybody else was the problem, and not recognizing that I was the problem, that I couldn't communicate my message in a way that people actually cared to listen. Whew. Okay, so you can take that knowledge and go one of two ways with it. You can just get pissed off and say, F it, I'm not going to do anything about this. Or you can ask yourself, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And you probably want to tie it to some sort of outcome that you want to achieve in life. If I want to ascend up to the vice president level in the organization, I'm probably going to have to learn how to effectively communicate with people. So I went through that workshop. I started going to Toastmasters. I started learning some more skills. And then I had to start attending networking events. Now, this is where some people get a little bit tripped up, but I want to talk about the first step here. You need to be an expert in something. Nobody's going to let you on stage if you don't really have a story to share, if you don't have some knowledge or wisdom to impart into the audience. So, really, the first step is being really good at what you do. And we get this experience by just doing the thing. I was an IT manager. I was really good at data centers, implementations, ERP migrations. Those were my strengths. And so I could lean into that because I was confident that I knew the topic at hand. I wasn't so much confident on stage, but I was confident in knowing the material. Once you are the expert in your given domain, then you have to start figuring out, how do I attend more events? Also, quite challenging for an introvert to do because I wasn't good at dealing with people. Even before I started getting on the stages, I felt so awkward because I didn't know how to just have a conversation. But one thing that helped me, and this is a little bit of a tangent, a side note here, is I was always obsessed with worrying about, do I say the wrong thing? What if I trip up? What if I embarrass myself? And the biggest trick that I learned early on was when somebody comes up to you and has a conversation, just ask them questions. Jason, what are your thoughts on the event overall? Oh, I really liked this topic on AI and how we use it to lead at scale. So did I. That was incredible. What aspect of that really stuck out? What you're doing is keeping the conversation going without having so much pressure on you. You offload the pressure onto the other person. So then you start having conversations with Jacob and Jason and Kristen and Sally and all the other people. And eventually word will get around, hey, Sean is actually pretty decent at communication. The event organizers will come up to you, say, hey, would you have any interest in sitting on a panel discussion? You mean in front of 300 CIOs? Yep. Whew. Okay. Uh, okay. So you get up, you sit on the panel, and then you just ask and answer the questions. You go back and forth and you share your knowledge. And you get tripped up and the lights are blinding and you're confused, and quite frankly, you suck at it. We all suck whenever we get started at it. But you learned, and then you get pretty good. And you're asked to sit on another panel. And then you're asked to moderate a panel. And then you're asked to facilitate a networking dinner for executives. This process continues, and it doesn't happen overnight, but each time it does, you get a little bit better. You start building and developing a brand and reputation for effectively communicating and sharing the knowledge that you have with everybody. That's what these event organizers want. The more you do that, the more they are going to pull you in and put you on their stages. And eventually, they will ask you to deliver a keynote. The first time you step on stage as an individual and deliver a keynote, it is going to stress you out beyond belief. But you're going to learn. You are going to grow. So becoming the expert, attending events, and then the most important part is learning skills around effectively delivering the message, around stepping on stage and commanding the attention of everybody in the audience. This is not an easy thing to do, but it can absolutely be done. You have to be confident, you have to be competent, you have to also eliminate filler words from your vocabulary. You have to use your hand gestures to draw people in and make sure that you talk about leveling up and that your hand gestures support your messaging. You have to make eye contact with the people in the audience. And I use quotes there because if the room is large enough, it is difficult to make eye contact with every single person, but you have to make your best effort to connect with different people throughout the room. These are all skills that you can absolutely learn and develop, and they stack on top of one another. So Sean is able to make and maintain eye contact. He's able to modulate his voice and go high and go low, having that change in pitch and tonality. It keeps people paying attention. He's able to walk around the stage. He doesn't keep his feet planted and just look around and talk to everybody like that. It's that movement. And when you start incorporating all of these things, all of a sudden, Sean is a captivating public speaker. You have to learn these skills. You have to get as much exposure as possible, get as many reps in as possible. One of the easiest, quickest, lowest friction ways to do this is to go find a Toastmasters. Yeah, you can obviously find public speaking coaches that can help you with this type of stuff, but Toastmasters is the cheapest, quickest, easiest way to start getting some feedback and getting the reps in. The more practice you do, the better you get, obviously. Now, why is this the most important skill that you should be focused on? The world is moving more and more into technology, into this digital landscape. We have this virtual avatar of who we are. And a lot of people are misrepresenting themselves online. They're using AI tools to craft all of their content, to craft all of their responses, and they're losing their voice in the process. I firmly believe that people need to lean in to continuing to develop human skills. I host a lot of networking events, I attend a lot of networking events, and people are starting to crave that genuine human connection. And if you are an expert at what you do and you can effectively communicate and educate and inspire and influence, people are going to naturally coalesce around you and want to spend time with you and learn from you. Now, why is that a good thing? Because it creates an abundance of opportunity. If more people know who you are, if more people know what you are all about and want to be around you and want to work with you, it opens doors. When you are spoiled for choice, you get to take control of your life. You get to choose who you work with. You get to choose who you spend time with. It is one of the most freeing experiences that I have ever gone through. Being able to choose your network. That is why you need to develop these skills.